Greetings, wise ones, and welcome back to the 8th House Wisdom channel. I'm your astro guide, Melissa of 8th House Wisdom, author, psychotherapist, business astrologer, feminine energy, and stellar planning expert. On this channel, we help you leverage the power and wisdom of the moon cycles through astrology and Lunar Wisdom Formula applications to empower female entrepreneurs, executives, and professionals to thrive. Today's video is the October New Moon Lunar Wisdom Formula for the Libra New Moon. And this isn't just any new moon, it's accompanied by a partial solar eclipse starting at 7:50 p.m. on October 2nd, 2024, which shifts the usual yang active phase into something more introspective and faded. Instead of simply planting seeds, this period encourages us to review, release, and allow space for the universe to do its work, since eclipses are faded events. So, today's video will explore the story of the 3 Libra eclipses that we've had from October 2023 to now, and how they create an eclipse story and the lunar families that they make up, spanning an 18-month period that will help you be able to apply the Lunar Wisdom Formula and stellar plan with great precision. I'll also be providing 8 grounding tips to help you balance the intense eclipse energy with practical applications for your career and business. So, stay tuned if you want to learn more about this final Libra eclipse in the Aries and Libra eclipse family, and make sure to give this video a thumbs up so that otherwise ones will be able to find it via the YouTube algorithm. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more lunar wisdom formulas that keep you aligned and in cyclical flow and in your soft girl era, both in life and in business. All right, wise ones, let's get into this juicy content because we have reached the end of the eclipse series for 2024 and the end of fall eclipse season with this new moon and solar eclipse. As we close out this Aries and Libra eclipse series, well, at least the Libra portion of it, because we still have one more event in Aries to show up in 2025. I want you to note that this new moon solar eclipse marks the third and final point of the Libra story over an 18-month cycle. It's important to note that eclipses are more than just celestial events. They create lunar families that unfold over time, which are connected to the 4 major phases of the moon, the new moon, the first quarter, the full moon, and the last quarter. And they're also in lunar families connected to specific degrees in the zodiac. One of the reasons why astrologers talk about eclipses as being faded events is because they happen in the same point and space in time in a cyclical fashion. Eclipses in signs repeat every 8 to 9 years, and eclipses by degree repeat every 18 to 19 years. This is what astrologers refer to as aspects of fate, or predicted and predictable events that repeat over and over again. The passage of time may have changed. It may be a new decade or a new century. However, the activation at these specific points in time gives us a repeated and faded quality because it's ringing the same bell. This is where your knowledge of lunar families and keeping your digital or paper planner with dates can come in super handy to be able to understand the trajectory of where we're headed when a full moon or new moon eclipse shows up. This Libra eclipse cycle began in October of 2023. And around that time, the current conflict in Palestine and Israel broke out. Shortly after, but almost within a week to the day, the start of the conflict in the Ukraine and war began. And so it's important to remember that we're talking about the Aries and Libra eclipse family. So we are talking about Aries, the god of war, and Libra, the balancer, lover, and bringer of peace. These two energies can run contrast to each other, but they also can be very literal in terms of the fated events that are brought up. And so it has been helping us on personal levels and global levels, either look at what we need to balance or balance themes of independence versus partnership, assertiveness versus diplomacy, and the classic dynamic between Aries and Libra, Aries the self and Libra others. The majority of the content of this video is going to be discussing these three major Libra eclipses that have happened in the 2023 through 25 eclipse cycle. And those eclipses are the new moon annular eclipse at 21 degrees Libra, which took place on October 14th, 2023. The partial full moon eclipse in Libra at 5 degrees, which happened on March 25th, 2024. And now the October 2nd, 2024 partial solar eclipse at 10 degrees Libra. The progression of eclipses have really carried us through different phases of growth, and each highlight the Libra archetype of the lover and focus on balance, cooperation, social grace, and peace. I encourage you to think about these eclipses as a journey, with each one bringing new developments, like the four main phases of the moon: new, first quarter, full, and last quarter. With this Libra new moon eclipse that we are preparing to experience, there is an invitation to review how we have evolved in the areas of relationship and partnership over the past 18 months, and we are being given an opportunity to release anything that no longer serves us. Remember that the fated energy of eclipses often bring unexpected shifts, so it's important to stay grounded and balanced as we move into this final eclipse of the fall season. And I think it's also important to remember to embrace the energy of Libra, the lover, who desires for things to be both aesthetically, intellectually, and emotionally pleasing and balanced wherever is possible. So, grab a copy of your chart and your business chart, birth chart that is, if you have it, and I suggest you grab a copy, paper or digital, of your calendar as we get into the body of this video and talk more about these three eclipses, some of the themes that have developed around them in the lunar families, and finally get to the information around grounding tips to work with the intense energy that each eclipse brings. To apply the information in this video, click the link below to get a free copy of your birth chart. Understand your planetary placements and get your planet positions at birth so you know where all the signs are in your chart. So, just to get us all caught up on what constitutes a lunar family, that comprises of the four major phases of a lunar cycle, beginning with a new moon, which is day one of the 29.5-day cycle, where you want to plant seeds and begin to start taking action. We then move into the first quarter moon, which is usually 7.5 days to 10 days after the new moon, which is where you want to review your process, think about your level of certainty, and continue to make progress, because this is the midpoint of the yang active phase of the cycle. We then move to the full moon, which is at 14 days of the cycle, and that is when the moon is fully reflecting the light of the sun. It is a time for us to review and bring things to culmination and allow now the feminine energy processes to take place, where we want to use momentum and hope that the seeds that we have planted will begin to do their own work and development, and we rest and recover. And that is punctuated by the last quarter moon, where people begin to really physically, especially women, feel physically tired. And it isn't a time to start something new, but to review what developments have happened from a week ago at the full moon, because we're at day 21, and to take action to close up shop, rest, and receive to get ready for another lunar cycle. When it comes to lunar families, what we're doing is tracking the new first quarter, full, and last quarter moon in a sign that is in a tight degree cluster, because this provides iterations of the theme that was started either with the new or full moon. That's what makes a lunar family. And those take place over the course of 2.5 years. Understanding this is key to both stellar planning and applying the Lunar Wisdom Formula, because actions taken at a new moon can be tracked to bigger developments when you look at the coordinating new moon in its sign and in a similar degree family. Now, of course, in any lunar cycle, you're going to start with a new moon, and a week later, you'll have a chance to check in on a short-term level. But looking at lunar families is a way to be able to track your progress long-term. It also can be utilized as a predictive measure, which helps you to be able to understand when to check in on your project or your ideas again when related to a new moon, because time has matured and developed, and that activation point within that degree range is being hit again. So you can expect some development and some furtherance, and you can glean more information. In this next section of the video, we're going to be looking at the lunar families that make up the 3 Libra eclipses, so that you can have greater insight into the patterns that are showing up in your life, and can have some specificity and accuracy about when to look and see these themes being activated. Now that we've established what a lunar family is, let's get into discussing the Libra eclipse cycles and take a closer look at how these 3 Libra eclipses have developed over time and what we can expect from the final chapter of this story. We're starting with the October 14th, 2023 Libra New Moon annular eclipse. This was the first eclipse in the series, and it was all about planting seeds for new beginnings in our relationships, partnerships, and helping to encourage us to balance out themes related to the self and others. It initiated a cycle where we called on our inner resources and insight to assess how we interact with others in our business and personal lives. And the dates above give you a sense of how the new beginnings that showed up around this new moon will continue to develop throughout the remainder of 2024 and into 2025 and 2026. Do make note of whether or not you have any Libra placements that are falling between the 20 and 23 degree range, because this would have actively shown up in your life in a personal way. Otherwise, it's more global. You also want to make note of if you have any planets at those degrees between 20 and, let's say, 20 and 28 degrees to go up, and let's say maybe going down to about 17 or 18 degrees for a orb or glow. And if you have any placements in cardinal signs, which is Cancer, Capricorn, Libra, and Aries, or any planets at those degree marks in general, then you may also be experiencing this eclipse in a more personal, not collective or global fashion. That brings us to this year of 2024, where we experienced 2 of the 3 Libra eclipses. One being a full moon eclipse, and the one that is upon us right now, which is yet another new moon eclipse, which gives us essentially a cycle of new beginnings with a new moon, endings with a full moon, and new beginnings again. But it's the final event, so it's a new beginning that may be closing up things and closing out a chapter to allow you to start something else. I think this is very important to keep in mind when you are stellar planning or applying aspects of the Lunar Wisdom Formula in your life or calendar. The second eclipse in this eclipse cycle is the March 25th, 2024 Libra full moon partial eclipse. Remember that full moons are times of culmination, and so this was definitely a time of culmination where themes that were introduced in October of 2023 may have reached a peak, simply because we're going from that new moon to a full moon over a 6-month period. We were able to see the results of our efforts to create balance, and it illuminated areas that needed adjustment, especially those in our professional or business collaborations. However, this full moon was a part of a completely different lunar family, considering that a new moon is going to start a lunar family, but a full moon is midstream. So if we look at the dates that are related to this particular new full moon and its degrees, the new moon took place in 2022 with the new moon in Libra on September 25th. We had the first quarter of this lunar family in June 2023 on June 26th, and we will be experiencing the culmination of this lunar family and efforts put in place that started in 2022 on December 22nd, 2024. Again, we have a tight cluster of degrees that are essentially ranging from 1 to 5 degrees of Libra. Let's give that about, so let's say any planets from about, that you have from maybe 28 degrees through about 6 degrees would be impacted, particularly if they're in the sign of Libra or a cardinal sign, but definitely if you have planetary placements there, then the degree is being activated. I think it's important to note that this cycle has, again, been going on for some time and we're reaching a close. So as we approach this new moon, which will close out this chapter, only a few months later, we'll be experiencing kind of the first completion that is coming from this cycle of eclipses in the sign of Libra. Make sure to make a note of these dates so you can track your progress and the potential events that are on their way to you. And last but definitely not least, we have arrived at the October 2024 new moon, occurring on the 2nd of the month. And unlike the first Libra eclipse, which was potent and very powerful, was a partial solar eclipse as well. This one will be giving a smaller corona, or as you may hear in the news, ring of fire. It's not going to be fully visible from the North American continent. It will be from South American continent, and for those of us who can't visually see it, we'll just be dealing with its energetic impression. But this is the third and final eclipse in the Aries Libra eclipse series. And it puts us in this phase of releasing, because we're completing this activation in the sign, as well as new beginnings, because again, new beginnings are associated with new moons and solar eclipses. However, this is not a time to actively create something new. This is about faded new beginnings. This is about reviewing what's already in motion and allowing space for those faded changes that every eclipse brings in. You all have free will, so you can do as you may and as you please. There are people who are born under the influence of eclipse who can work well with the chaotic and unpredictable energy that happens with these lunar events. But as a very well-practiced moon manifester, it does not make intuitive or logical sense to put forth and plant seeds that we care about deeply and want to nourish when all signals point to the fact that something is going to show up for us to deal with that could completely knock our plans out of whack if they're not in alignment. And so it's better to save your seed planting, action taking efforts when it comes to an eclipse, to pull back from ritual, pull back from ideating what you want to get accomplished from thin air, and to pay closer attention to the lessons that have been learned and the events that show up within a week or two before or after the eclipse event, because it's not always that something bam just shows up right when the moon is new and the moon eclipses. We're talking about things that build up, but that you want to pay attention to that. Recognize that because they are tied to cyclical recurring events, that what's showing up is pretty much going to be here to stay. And once it has made its appearance and you can make your peace with it, Libra, then is the time to take action, because you now have the full lay of the land and you know what's on the playing field. Doing it in reverse could mean that what shows up completely squelches the prospects of your plan, and then you still have to deal with what shows up anyhow. So that's my recommendation as it relates to working with this energy around the partial solar eclipse that is upon us on the 2nd. The reason that I chose to go into such detail about the lunar families is because I really want to drive home the point that eclipses are not random, that they occur in cycles, which have inside of them lunar families, and that with each eclipse, it builds on the previous one in some way, shape, or form, just like the lunar families do, creating a narrative of growth and transformation. So understanding the dates related to the eclipse and the coordinating lunar family can give you insight about what the themes or narrative of that growth and or transformation will look like in your life, and whether or not the eclipse is impacting you personally, or whether or not you are experiencing the impact from the collective standpoint of all of us on this planet. Again, this brings us back to how are we aligning with the 4 phases of the moon, and in what ways do these events relate to the 4 moon phases? The new moon beginnings, the first quarter action, the full moon culmination, and the last quarter reflection and release. This final Libra eclipse completes the cycle, and from the eclipse cycle standpoint, not lunar families, it gives last quarter energy, meaning it's a time for review, release, and preparation for future growth that is tied to the dates listed in these lunar families. Now let's explore 8 tips for grounding and balancing eclipse energy, especially for women, as we think about navigating our careers in business, but also our personal lives as well. First up is reflect on past partnerships. With this being a 7th house new moon, it activates the house of relationship and partnerships. So take time to review relationships in your business and personal life that have played a significant role over the past 18 months. What worked, what didn't, and allow for any unresolved dynamics to surface so that you can process and release them. Number 2, practice mindfulness. The intense energy of the eclipse can stir up emotions. Make sure to ground yourself throughout the day with mindfulness or meditation practices. This helps you stay centered amidst any unexpected changes that may arise. Number 3, realign your business vision. Use this time to reconnect with your long-term goals. Eclipses can reveal where your vision needs adjustment, so be open to the shifts that could propel you into a new direction. Number 4, reevaluate business partnerships. Libra energy is all about relationships. If a collaboration or partnership no longer serves your highest good, this is the time to release it with grace and diplomacy. Number 5, go with the flow. As we've talked about, eclipses can bring unexpected twists. Practice adaptability by releasing control over outcomes. Trust that the universe is guiding you towards what is meant to be for you. Number 6, plan for slow growth. Eclipses are about faded change, not immediate results. So set your internal barometer right now to look at what shows up so that you can plan to take action, responsive action, once that dust has settled. But hold off on your attentions for the next 2 weeks and don't rush into action. Allow things to unfold naturally, and we can get back to intention setting for the subsequent new moon. Number 7, balance work and life. Libra, the lover, is all about balancing the scales in equilibrium. So make sure you're balancing your professional ambitions with your personal self-care, which is the Aries side of this equation. The eclipse energy demands that we take care of both. And finally, number 8, ground in nature. I'm just going to continue to say this: ground, ground, ground. Eclipses are like live wires. They're a new moon or full moon on steroids. What you need to be is grounded to best make your way through the energy. So take some time to be outdoors, take some time for mindfulness, walk outside barefoot, hug a tree. Eclipse energy is intense, so expect to feel it in your body. Grounding yourself through physical connection with nature can help you balance your mind and body and make best use of the downloads that come during an important time like this. So to sum this all up, the Libra New Moon partial eclipse that is occurring on October 2nd, 2024, brings both endings and new beginnings as the final chapter in the 18-month Aries and Libra eclipse portion that is in the sign of Libra. It's a time for reflection, release, and faded new beginnings. And it's an opportunity to let go of anything that's holding you back so that you can create space for new pathways that are about to emerge. Remember that eclipse energy can be intense, but by practicing grounding and balancing, you can navigate these cosmic shifts with softness, intuition, and grace. This is what I hope you will get out of this. And with the specificity of the dates included for each lunar family, I highly encourage you to make note of any future ones as goalposts for how progress is moving in this Libra area of your chart or life, but also to look back and see what conditions were in play during any of the previous dates so that you have the best view of how much progress you have made and what's still to be done to bring things to completion and fruition. If this video and the content in this video resonated with you, please make sure to share it with other wise women and wise ones, because for women and femme energy people, the moon is our mother and the sentinel for how we should live our life, track our energy, and attuning to its natural cycles are what is key to living a soft life, because following it allows you to get things accomplished, but reminds you that there is a difference between the feminine way of ebbing and flowing versus the masculine way of being on at all times. This is the power of applying the Lunar Wisdom Formula and one of the key tenets in stellar planning, so that you can understand the quality of time and plan accordingly in your life and in business. This is at the core of staying in cyclical flow. So I want to encourage you to keep watching the stars and embracing the power of the moon in your personal life and business journey, because life and business do come with an instruction manual. It's written in the stars. Until next time, wise ones, sending you so much light and love, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Get into your feminine flow and pre-enroll in the Feminine Flow Masterclass beginning on September, where I will help you unlock the power of the moon to transform your business, leadership, and life. In this masterclass, you'll learn how to harness the natural rhythms of the lunar cycle to achieve more with less stress, make confident decisions, and create a balanced, fulfilling daily routine by integrating my Lunar Wisdom Formula into your life. This will help you discover a holistic approach to success that empowers you to lead with clarity and purpose. Enroll before September 3rd to get a $30 discount by enrolling early. The link is in the description below. Are you ready for a stellar breakthrough? In this 30-minute free stellar breakthrough analysis, we'll identify the top 5 things that might be holding you back from aligning to your personal stellar success cycles, and the one thing that you need to do to move forward into ease and grace. Current energy vibes, the year ahead, your story, whatever you need to discuss related to the flow, timing, and planning in your life, we can start to work it out using astrology. Book your private session today by clicking the link below, or just come to the website and see what service works for you. I'd love to be your stellar planning and Lunar Wisdom Formula guide to living a soft life in business and beyond. Check out my new Etsy store called Stellar Planning Tools to get some of my newest products to support you in applying stellar planning, the Lunar Wisdom Formula, lunar self-care, and to expand your manifesting practice. My new series, The Wise Woman's Mindset and Self-Care Guides, are being offered exclusively on Etsy. These guides were created to assist you in living with more ease, grace, and with a process to make lasting change in your life. Check them out. Link is in the description below. Discover the keys to your life's path and purpose by reading the stars with a free personal astrology report sample from 8th House Wisdom. From obstacles to opportunities, these reports teach you what you need to know to thrive. Try out any of these 8 types of astrology reports, 2 multi-package reports, and 1 tarot reading in the 8th House Wisdom Astro Report store before you buy them. They're available for immediate download and specific to you, your life, and your unique birth information. Crystals are a fantastic tool to harmonize and ground your energy. Use my coupon code 8th House Wisdom for 11% off high quality, ethically sourced crystals. Click the link in the description below to shop today. Get an in-depth look at the astrology of 2024 and more information about my stellar planning process with this free workshop, Stellar Planning for 2024. Think, speak, and grow an abundant new year. Click the link in the description below to watch now. Remember, wise ones, life does come with an instruction manual. It's written in the stars. Please like, share, and comment on this video, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Sending you so much light and love. Take care.